I'm just going to select our point light and delete it from the scene so we can start working with the spotlight. Once that's out of the way, I'm going to go to Game Object, Lights, Spotlight, and there it is. Let me pull it forward so we can see a little bit better. Just like our point light, we have a visual representation of the range of the light, and if I pull this up here, we could see that the linear fall off is just as true for our spotlight as it was for our point light. So we have full strength at the start of the light. We can see it's really right here. But as I draw the light up and we get closer to the end of this penumbra, our light really starts to fade out. It can be really confusing when you're first starting out and working with spotlights. You might think that they're not working properly, but really all you need to do is increase the range of the light, and you could do so by dragging the center box here down. So the other control allows you to adjust the angle. Spotlights are really helpful for creating lighting situations where you need the light to go in one really dedicated direction. Examples of this would be flashlights, headlights, or even lamps with shades on them. You could actually create a two spotlight scenario where you have one light facing down and then another light facing up to represent the light being directed by that shade. So we have all the same features that we do with all the other lights. Notice that we're also getting the warning about real-time indirect bounce shadowing like we did with the point light, so that's just something to be aware of. One feature about spotlights that's really common, like I mentioned, is using it for a flashlight. And that brings us to another feature that I'd like to point out, and that's cookies. This probably sounds like a really weird term to be throwing around in relation to lights, and it is a little bit confusing. I always thought the term cookie cutter makes more sense for what it actually is. A cookie is something like a mask that our light will shine through to create the illusion of some extra detail. So imagine a scenario where you'd want moonlight to be shining down through tree branches and casting shadows on the ground. You can create a cookie of those tree branches and have that cast on the ground. But let me show you a cookie that I'm sure most of you have seen in games before. I'm going to click on the button here, and I'm going to search for flashlight. And we can see that we have two flashlight cookies. These are part of the Unity standard assets, and I just imported them into the scene. So I'm going to select flashlight cookie, this first one. And now you could see this pattern on the ground wherever our light is cast that simulates the effect of a flashlight lens. So as I move this around, we could see that it's following our light. I could rotate it, and it will warp appropriately. There we go. Now cookies can be used on any light type, but they're particularly effective when utilized with a spotlight. In our next clip, we're going to take a look at area lights.